I was going to discuss 5 Pokemon that'll probably turn into memes, but the meme lords on Twitter and other sites are really fast, so there's already a bunch of memes for almost all the Pokemon. Instead, let's talk about 5 Pokemon you might end up forgetting and theorize why they might not be the most memorable and ways they could be remembered. This is a video predicting whether or not these Pokemon have what it takes to be remembered. So if some of these are your favorites, don't worry, I don't hate them. We're just talking, having a lovely conversation over some tea and lamb skewers. Welcome everyone to the 5 new Pokemon you might forget about. Number 5. Bruxish. This is probably going to be this generation's Basculin, unless they give it the Milotic treatment and make it evolve into something really cool. But I don't know what you'd do with this. Maybe turn it into a giant wad of bubblegum? I'd remember that. With all the fish Pokemon, you probably aren't going to be jumping at the chance to catch a Bruxish. And unless this is the new Tentacool of this generation, where you find it in every body of water and maybe floundering about on some grass, I don't see this guy being that memorable. Scratch that, I already forgot what it looks like. Number 4. Drampa or Turtonator. I had to choose between one of these dragons because one looks like Druddigon. Remember that dragon? Me either. And the other is really just there to fill the normal dragon typing slot and be a part of my bedtime stories and weird lucid dreams where I fight giant monsters with ground beef and popcorn. I'm not even joking, that was a dream I had. It's kind of hard to pick which of these two would be the least memorable because they're them. But I'm going with Drampa because I feel like Turtonator is more likely to get an evolution and that might help? That's just a guess anyways. So number 4, Drampa. The thing about Drampa is the fact that he looks like another standalone Pokemon, just there to fill a new typing. I think he's a fun-looking Pokemon and has that aura of maybe being part of a quest or something. But I just don't get that memorable feeling from it, as with the multitude of less terrifying dragons popping up, Drampa's look might just fall to the wayside. I can see Drampa evolving into a possible huge but somewhat sleepy-looking normal dragon, like Crawling Dragon but with a white mustache. However, as much as I like Drampa, I'm ready for the possibility of it just not evolving and being forgotten. I'll never forget you, what was its name again? Number 3. Comfey. The Pokemon Company has this habit of making Pokemon that are based off inanimate objects, some of which are memorable, mainly due to the fact that they're either so out there, like ice cream, or they're cool, like Chandelure. The problem I see with Comfey is that, while it is nicely designed and pretty cute, it is just another random object you probably won't remember. It's a floral necklace. It's one of those Pokemon that you'd end up going up to your friend and saying, "Hey, remember that floral necklace Pokemon?" And then he says no and you realize that's enough socializing for the week and it's back to watching YouTube videos. It also being a fairy type doesn't really help its notoriety, as most fairy types from the previous generation, barring Sylveon, weren't the most standout Pokemon and had some weird designs. The ones from before Generation 6 that had the typing added onto them might be remembered, but that's not because of the fairy typing itself. I feel like that typing is still going through a trial and error process and doesn't jump out as much as other types. Regardless, Comfey is definitely a cool looking Pokemon, but I see it taking a back seat to better Pokemon and being somewhat forgotten. Number 2. Salandit. I feel like this is the type of Pokemon you'd end up forgetting about and then just losing to one day out of nowhere. You'd run into it, forget what typing it is, and then it'll take down your entire team. This Pokemon just looks like it could either not evolve or have 2 evolutions and turn into a complete beast. It really feels like a coin toss to me. Look at how sneaky this Pokemon looks. It's ready to just surprise you in those online Pokemon tests because you forgot how to spell its name. I kind of like this guy. It's creepy and weird, but I feel like it has this innate forgettable factor. Maybe it'll turn into a poison dragon or something, or just not evolve and prove my theory right. Either way, all of the options are covered by having it on this list. Number 1. Wimpod. I'm not sure how you'll remember a Pokemon that just constantly runs away from you, but maybe that's its iconic factor that'll keep it in conversations and tabloid newspapers. Wimpod seems like this generation's gimmicky Pokemon, like Stunfisk or Farfetch'd, that's just sort of there to fill a comic relief hole. I don't see too much coming out from this Pokemon, and I don't see it being particularly strong, and it's probably not going to be a signature Pokemon for any gym leader, but I do think it's a sort of funny Pokemon that you might remember for a little bit because it's a nice joke. But after that little bit, you'll probably forget about it. Also, its bottom half looks like a pineapple. I do like that it's a bug water type, since that typing does need an extra little bit of love, but I'm not sure if Wimpod is the Pokemon to give it that love. Thanks everyone so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that sub button, and crush that like button, and button up that shirt, young man or lady. This is supposed to be a formal event. Hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know which Pokemon you predict to not be the most memorable. See you all next time, and until then, keep on catching!